Hi, everyone. I'm Anthony Brister. Today, we've got a special guest, Amy Morgan, here. We're going to be talking about just making a brand, marketing, and a little bit about Amy and what kind of services she offers. So, Amy, thank you for hopping on today. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So, hello everyone, I'm Amy and I run a marketing agency for hospitality brands. So, the way that I approach things is a little bit different because I don't just do marketing strategy or copywriting. What I kind of do is take all of the bits that you do in marketing and use those to connect the dots in your customer journey. So I break down the silos that might happen, unite marketing and operations to really synchronize those online and on-site experiences to deliver great brand experience for your customers.
That's awesome. And I know you kind of had a weird start. So tell everyone how you got started in this industry and how you got to where you are now, because I thought that was interesting when we talked.
Yeah, so my career actually started in, well, childcare when I first kind of left school and did all of my studies. And then I got very fortunate and I was able to move to Thailand back in 2013. And when I kind of left to go over there, I didn't know what I was going to do over there. So I started a blog and started writing, kind of built that up. And as part of that, I got offers to do people's social media management. And I began copywriting for expat magazines or local publications or places that did hotel bookings. And that kind of sparked my kind of love affair with marketing. It was just communicating these different things and what makes place or a destination or something so special. And so that's kind of what sparked it. And then when I came back to England, so I'm based in London, just in case the accent, the British accent wasn't clear. And when I came back, I noticed that people weren't hiring because at the time I didn't have qualifications in marketing, just like 2 or 3 years of experience. So I went back to college, I got my qualifications in marketing, and then I went into marketing management. So leading the departments for various companies across food and beverage, automotive, and most recently in events. And then last year, I left that job to start my own business. And that's kind of been my journey so far. So very varied.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And congrats again for starting up again on your own. I know it's a big risk to do that. So you say you help hospitality clients. Can you, I guess, elaborate a little bit more? Like what kind of clients is that? Is that like Airbnb or is it kind of bigger corporate?
So at the moment, I'm working more with marketing consultancy for like hospitality owners. So they might own the hotel or they have their own Airbnb. And what
Mhm.
they're looking at is where these disconnects happen in their marketing journey. So for context, a lot of marketing goes into the awareness stage of the customer journey or your marketing funnel, whichever way you want to look at it. But it doesn't really do much after that. You might have social media and email marketing for awareness and then use your website as the conversion point. But then what? Then what happens? So what I do is I sit back, I listen to all of their pain points, how they run their business, what they've been doing in their different marketing activities with their teams, and then I find where those disconnects can happen. So for example, pre-purchase, you'll notice so many marketing communications go out. You've got your email newsletters with your latest offers and what makes your brand unique and those various different touch points. But once you've purchased, that kind of stops. What's left is the in-person experience and then not much after that. Like people don't really nurture that loyalty loop. um so I've been working on consulting with that. I'm actually doing the same with a construction business at the moment. So I kind of I call my clients kind of home and home away from home because in addition to hospitality, I'm looking after some construction clients, some mortgage clients. So it's kind of that home and home away from home has become my category. And another example is there. So they've got all of these different communications going out. They've built out this really deep connection to their community, but they're very disjointed. So it's just making sure that all of these different activities are guiding your users along the customer journey to that point of conversion, referral, coming back to the loyalty loop.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you said a lot there, just kind of unpacked maybe the process. And one thing you said is a lot of people spend the time on awareness. And it's like, with social media, you got a couple seconds, and I feel like we all are competing for attention. Like, hey, I exist. But what are after the awareness? You hit pre-purchase and purchase experience. So, what is that process, and what is the kind of the loop as you define it? And I think business owners are focusing on the awareness. So that's probably a piece we're all missing.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, there's a huge market out there. We all want business so that we've got income to run our businesses and to contribute to the economy and all of that type of things. So in the customer journey or your marketing funnel, whichever way you want to look at it, you have 5 different stages. There can be 7. There's a lot of different people who have their own versions, but just to keep it simple, you've got awareness, consideration, purchase, retention, and advocacy. So you'll notice a lot of marketing investments go into awareness. Again, it makes sense. Market acquisition, it's what we want. But you'll find that people have the information, but they're not always in the buying cycle. People are either off cycle or in cycle. And what you want to make sure is that when you are communicating to your audience, you're giving them the information so that when they are ready to buy, they have those details. So an example of a campaign in action is one that we're doing at the moment. Is I'm working with a client on their email marketing. Email is great because you're not reliant on another person's algorithm or platform. You just had the news with TikTok going down for 12 hours. A lot of people lost their business in that time, and it takes a while to get back up with all the uncertainty. So it's always worth investing in your own kind of own land. But email is a great example. So there's emails that go out, they send them out bi-weekly, and they're like, we're getting some conversions, but they're not in line with what we want. And I was like, okay, talk me through your approach. And they're like, oh, we just tell them what we've got going on, any offers. And I'm like, okay, offers and discounts are great for when people are in the buying cycle and they're ready to make that purchase. But the reality is they're not always ready. And it's about priming people so that they have the information when they need, not just that your company exists, which falls into the awareness stage of building that brand awareness and what you do, but why you're doing it, how you're doing it, why you're different from other people. So we looked at these emails, and what we've done is we've started some different sequencing for different stages. So, for example, if they've met with us, if they've never met with us, if they got in contact for a competition, and basically put them into like nurture campaigns. So they go in a loop. And in those stages, they get the information based on what they're needing. So if they entered for a competition, that might be the first thing that they've ever heard of us, but they don't have any information on the company, what we do, when they need it, how to look for that. So it's become about educating them. And an example is, so this particular company, we do roofing and exteriors. And at this time of year, for where they're located, it's winter. So there's a lot of ice damming and drafts and doors and all of this stuff that leads to energy inefficiency. So what we're doing is educating clients along the way, their customers, sorry, not clients, on what to look for, how to know when to act, and whether they really need it. Because I think great marketing isn't just about selling to people. It is about empowering them with the information that they need, whether they do really need that thing, so that they can make the decision whether to act on it.
Yeah, I think that's so true. In my field, right, it's like, hey, I can save you, like, you do this and you can save this much, but still, like, getting people to actually take that action and do it. It's like, the result is there. You just got to take the action. And so
Especially with your industry, because when it comes to people's finances, whether it's personal or professional, it's a very private part of themselves. And you have to have a lot of trust built up before people are willing to hand over the reins to someone to be able to guide them.
Yeah, no. And then something else you touched on too was email marketing. That's something I'm trying to grow myself as well too. And I actually made a post when TikTok went down, like, there's Instagram algorithm or YouTube algorithm, TikTok, these things shut down. And then what do you do? So building an email list and kind of your own platform is huge. Email marketing though seems like a lot of work. So is it basically kind of drafting up emails and kind of blasting it and like continually doing the copywriting, or how does that work?
I think anything is a lot of work, but when you understand the purpose that it plays into the wider business, it becomes a bit clearer, and it's less about effort and more about intention and result. So I am pro email all the time. I think it kind of dipped off a couple of years ago when social went on the rise, and now people are realizing that actually I should be investing in my own thing. And there are
Yeah.
multiple benefits. It's not just about algorithms, but if you have a pop up shop happening or a flash sale, or you're attending an event last minute and you're going there to speak, whatever it is, you have a direct line to your customers, or even if they haven't purchased from them yet, let's call them your audience, to be able to give them this information. Or if you want feedback or to do a survey on something, again, direct line of communication to be able to find out directly from the people who are interested in you how you're perceived, how you're performing, and what you can do better. So it can be a lot of work, but I think one, it's worth it, and two, it's just breaking it down. Like, it doesn't have to be a lot of work. I
Mhm.
think it really elevates an experience. So an industry that does this really well, in my opinion, is retail. They have email marketing down to a T. You buy from a shop one time, you put it, whether it's for like in the UK, we have e-receipt. So you give them your email address, you go into their email marketing with it. And not always, you have to get consent, but you tend to get a lot of different emails on new stock or like different things that they're doing, collaborations with different designers, and they're in touch with you regularly. So you always know what's going on. And I think, especially in fashion, it's quite a fast moving industry. But they do it really well because they know the benefits of being able to do it. But on the other side, you have coaching and consultants who may only email their list once a month just to keep in contact. And that's enough because your audience learns your consistency and then they learn to expect that. So it's not about being in their inbox every day or every week, it's just setting up a cadence for it. But I do think sequencing is one of the best things to have in place so that if somebody makes an inquiry for your business, they get an automated response that says, "Hey, we've received your email. We'll be back in touch in this window," so that you really set those expectations of when people are going to hear from you, how your process works, and all of these things. It's just really elevating that conversational aspect.
Yeah, well, definitely setting expectations, and you're right on the kind of fashion thing. I think I'm probably still getting an email from Old Navy when I signed up in like eighth grade. Uh, Still getting dripped on that. Is it true that like social media, I've heard you only reach around like 3 to 6% of your audience? Where like again, when you're doing email marketing, whoever's on that list probably hitting almost all of them. I know there's probably a few bounce back and things like that, but have you heard that?
Yeah, so social media varies massively, especially at the moment. I know everyone loves to blame algorithms on performance, and there is still a huge opportunity for people to be able to go viral and build an audience from scratch at the moment.
Hmm.
However, typically, like I can use my data as an example, I get 10% reach based on followers, and then of that, I have a 10 to 25% engagement rate. But my reach overall isn't the same. So it's
Yeah.
very hard to determine, but then you also have companies or creators who have a significantly higher engagement rate because they've really leaned into where content's going, and that's short form videos, very actionable content. People call it unselfish. So instead of talking about you, you're framing it towards them. So instead of this is what I got up to today, it becomes, I don't know, a day in the life of a business owner and what tools and resources I use to run my business, these type of things. Um, and they tend to perform really well. But you're right with email, like this is the thing, if your data is good, if like, don't buy lists, don't think that having any numbers on your email list is going to help. It's not. It is better to have 10, 20 really engaged people than have 20,000 people who don't care what you're saying and never open your inbox, open their inbox, sorry. But with email, it's correct. Like, if your subject lines are enticing, if you create good content that really resonates with them, you're going to build that loyalty where they want to open your emails every time you send them. So your open rates will be significantly higher.
Yeah, I think social media is a little bit sexier. You go viral. I think you get the dopamine from the likes as well too, where necessarily you don't get that from someone opening up your email. Um, where was I going with that? But
It's
Hmm.
fine. I get it. It's like going to a party versus hosting a party.
Yeah.
Like your email list is already people that you know and that have invited to be a part of it. And social media is glitz and glam. And you can get real if you want to, but it's this very polished aesthetic kind of outside vibe where your reach can be higher. And social media advertising, for example, when you start to boost through Meta and all of these different things, does have an impact. And that's actually really good for the conversion stage of your customer journey because they tend to perform. Like when people are looking for those things, they click through when they're ready.
Yeah, and I guess you're right too. Like social media is probably good for the awareness side where, a cold email coming into my inbox, I'm probably gonna send that to junk or, not read it. What about storytelling? I hear so much about like storytelling and like branding, but what's your thoughts on that and like putting that through kind of your marketing as well?
I am a copywriter before I was ever a marketer, so I will always preach about the importance of storytelling. It feels like a buzzword now because everyone says it, like where
Yeah.
storytelling meets strategy will be a buzzline or that you hear everywhere. And it is, it's really important because I think with any business, and it's not just about marketing or sales or operations, but when people are coming to you, they want you to solve a problem. And when you're doing that, you have to be able to communicate. Now, you can communicate in a way that is purely factual and informational, but people are probably going to switch off, especially in particular industries. Like when you go to a doctor, if they
Uh,
were to use all of the high level words for anything in the human body, the way that they do operations, you'd be like, what? Because it's not your expertise. But if you're going to communicate in a way where you can meet your audience where they're at so that they understand and you can take them along on a journey, you can tell a story. And this doesn't mean like an old folklore where it's like three little pigs, but
yeah.
giving them the information along relevant stages so that when they need it, they have it. That's the way that you can use storytelling to be able to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's how I feel too. And I struggle, especially being in like the tax industry or, just service industries in general. I feel like sometimes it's hard to put that storytelling into like your content without being super technical or wanting to, sound smart, right? What's the best way you think for people to practice storytelling in their content?
Focus
Or
on value. Don't talk about features and benefits, but focus on the value it provides. So I'm going to use you as an example here. You work in tax accounting, which can be for many, no disrespect, a very boring subject
yeah,
because it's just numbers. People prefer to spend money than sit down and figure out where it's going, how much they need to save, how much they need to pay the IRS or HMRC, depending on where people are listening from. But if you were to sell your services only focusing on that, it's very much problem solution. It doesn't inspire people. But if you're going to tell people how to do it, how to budget, what breakdown they need to do, how to invest their money, and really give them that information to empower them, these are all different ways where they get behind your mission. And it doesn't become about, hey, I can do bookkeeping, tax law, and all of this stuff. It becomes, hey, I can help you do X. So you
mm,
focus on the value that you can deliver.
yeah, and I think that's something I'm trying to learn myself too is putting value out there. It's I feel like it's a struggle of like giving away things for free and like creating value versus like wanting people to pay you for that information and services. So it's just kind of a weird balance.
Yeah, I completely get it. And there is a tendency as service providers to overshare and just want to help people. And then you're like, well, you should be paying me for this.
Uh-huh.
Um, but set boundaries, like 15 minutes to help someone or to be able to know if you can help them for a discovery call is all it takes. You don't need to give them an hour. That's where you get into the nitty gritty of it. But
Mhm.
I believe in giving everything away. Like any knowledge that I have it because most people won't do anything with it. They'll listen and be like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I can see the benefits of this. Oh, I'm feeling inspired by this. But intention and action are two different things. And there's usually a big old chasm in between them.
That's actually so true. Intention and action. And you can give people like the steps to succeed and they still won't do it. I think I said that at the beginning, right? Like the action part, people actually doing it. I think that's just maybe a scarcity type of mindset where, again, you just don't want to give away too much value because you feel like people need you. But what most people actually need is the implementation and the handholding on that. The knowledge isn't an issue, especially in today's world. I think there's too much knowledge out there.
Yeah. And everyone's sharing it. Go on LinkedIn, go on YouTube. You've got tutorials, you've got breakdowns on the importance of X, Y, and Z. But no one's telling you how to do it. They're
Yeah.
saying, I made X amount of money doing Y. They're giving you a tutorial with a step by step breakdown on YouTube. But most people don't want to replicate somebody else's steps. Like, unless there's a specific need. Like, if you want to learn to change a tire on a car, then yes, you're going to sit down and you're going to learn that. But
Yeah.
with taxes or self-care or anything like that, it's the action of going somewhere and having someone take care of you and you trusting them to do the thing.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. So you're based out of London. Do you work with people in the US or all over the world? What's kind of your outreach in that part?
So I have clients in the UK, in the US, and Australia at the moment, so quite varied.
Good, good. And what's the best way for people to reach out to you if they want to work with you?
Yeah, so my website is www.amymorgan.co, and then this is Amy Morgan on social media like LinkedIn, Instagram, all of that stuff.
Yeah, I'll drop all your information in our show notes here. Before we end, is there anything else you want to kind of leave the audience with? Everyone go reach out to Amy. I think she's gave some good insights today. But, anything you want to leave us with, Amy?
Just look at the big picture with your business and zoom out from your marketing. It's so easy to get stuck in all the details and to really polish things to perfection. But think about how it plays in your overall brand experience and how you can really deliver value to your customer.
Yep, I agree. The biggest thing and what people want is value. Everyone's seeking value nowadays. And so, Amy, thank you so much for being on today. Everyone, go reach out to Amy. Again, this was a Wealth Planning Podcast with Brister Law. We had Amy Morgan here. I'm Anthony Brister. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with anyone who might need this. Thank you, guys.